Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
The first ban of interleague baseball games will come to a close as the Twins and Brewers wrap up their three-game set on a picture-perfect day for baseball in Milwaukee. Zach Greinke will put his 4-1 record and sub-3 ERA on the line against a Twins team that's won 4 in a row for the first time since winning 8 straight between June 11th and through the 21st last year. So we'll see if the Brewers can avoid the sweep as we continue our coverage of Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Telly Hughes, Jerry Augustine back with you, and Carlos Gomez is back with the Brewers after his injury with the left hamstring hampered him over the last 15 days, but he returns. Brooks Conrad was optioned back to Nashville to make room for Gomez, and Gomez's return comes on the heels of Nigel Morgan's 3-hit, 2 stolen base games, Jerry. So we might be seeing T. Plush returning along with Carlos Gomez.
I'll tell you what a combination. Last year did so well for the Brewers. But when you look at Nigel Morgan, he is an igniter. He's in the ball game. He's swinging the bat real well. He can do so many things to help this ball club. Exactly what he did this year. If it's not at the plate, it's in the field. Nigel Morgan can be a big igniter. It's good to see him swinging the bat well.
Yes, it's T. Plush back. We sure hope so. We know the Zach Attack is looking forward to his return to Miller Park this afternoon as we take more of a look at Zach Greinke's last couple performances when Brewers baseball continues next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Welcome back to beautiful Miller Park. Zach Greinke on the mound this afternoon for Milwaukee, pitching as well as anyone right now in baseball, untouched over his last 15 innings on the scoreboard. That's the third longest streak going right now in baseball. Hi, everybody. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Craig Kashan. Welcome back to the broadcast as we get you set for Game 3, Twins and Brewers. Zach Greinke. Boy, how good has this guy been over his last 2 starts? No runs given up. He's pitching the ball very well. His control certainly is a key, Rock.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if anybody's throwing a baseball any better than Zach Greinke, I'd like to see him, and he's been doing it in a lot of different ways. You know, he was very successful against the Reds a couple of starts ago, no walks, 11 strikeouts. It was basically fastball slider for Greinke in that game. This guy has been dominant with those 2 pitches, but against the Mets, it was fastball, curveball. He didn't throw many sliders. The curveball was his pitch in that particular game. He is on point right now, and nobody really is any better in all of baseball.
Looking forward to his start against Jason Marquis. The border battle finale on the way. The Brewers need one today to salvage getting swept by their interleague rival. A new lineup may do the trick. We'll have the first pitch all coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Zach Greinke ready to stop the Brewers' losing streak here today. Best home winning percentages among the National League pitchers right now since last year. Zach Greinke in the top of the list right now because he has not lost yet in his home ballpark. He'll be out there against Jason Marquis today. And Ron Gardenhire, the Twins skipper, his team looking for a sweep against the Brewers here this afternoon. All of a sudden, they are playing some very good baseball. They have won 4 in a row. His Piggly Wiggly batting order includes Denard Span, who has been very good at the top of the order. Ben Revere gets the start in right. Then it's Maurer, Willingham, and Morneau. Then Brian Dozier at short. Kloof over at third. Jamie Carroll at second today, all ahead of the pitcher, Jason Marquis. So Zach Greinke out on the hill for Milwaukee. Start number 9 on the season. His ERA sparkling, and he is in a groove, Rock.
Yeah, 2.88 for the season, 4-1, and particularly good here at Miller Park. He takes his 13-0 career record into this game at Miller Park. 2-0 this year and a 129 earned run average. That's in 4 Miller Park starts.
Let's take a look at the defense behind him, presented by Menards. It's Braun, Morgan, and Hart. Same outfield as Saturday. Infield much different. Green over at third is Turris at short. Masonette at second for Ricky Weeks and Ishikawa. Over at first, Luke Corey behind the plate. Again in this one, Hunter Wendelstedt will be behind the plate calling balls and strikes. And there's your umpiring crew. Bob Davidson, the crew chief, over at third today. So we are set to get this game 3 underway. Interleague play between the Brewers and the Twins. Zach Greinke's first pitch is down low for a ball. Some wholesale changes in the Brewers lineup and defensively, of course, here today. Ricky Weeks not playing today, getting a much needed day off. Neither is Ramirez. So Masonette gets a second consecutive start. He's at second, and Green makes his first start of the big league season over at third base. He's been playing some of his, or actually most of his action over at first since he was called up. And Span, soft liner, grabbed by his Turris for the first out. Beautiful day again here at Miller Park. What a great summer-like weekend it has been. Temperatures in the mid-80s again. The roof is open. And partly cloudy conditions right now. Can't ask for anything better for July, and it's only May.
Well, and the only thing the Brewers could ask with the good weather is some good baseball and win a game. It's been a rough stretch for the crew. Twins playing some fundamentally sound baseball. The Brewers have not, and looking to turn it around today.
Right now they are 8 games below 500. That is a season low for the Brewers. And they have not been able to establish the dominance at Miller Park that Ron Renicke's crew was able to put together a year ago. And he was saying that's been a big mystery at this point, as Ben Revere lines one into the gap, and he'll easily make second base. So a 1-out double for the Twins against Zach Greinke.
And Ben Revere, since being called up, has really done a nice job in this series. Very fast base runner, able to tomahawk a high Greinke fastball and shoot it into the gap. How important is it for the Brewer pitching staff to control the top 2 in this batting order, because 3, 4, and 5 have been very good.
And number 3 up now in Joe Mauer. He's the Minnesota catcher, 275 on the season, with a home run and 19 RBIs for Mauer. So it's lefty versus righty here in this sequence. And he's got a speedy base runner in Ben Revere out at second base. Joe Mauer did not start in the game yesterday, but he did make a pinch hit appearance later in the game. There's a strike from Greinke. Greinke's put up some dominant numbers, and he's pitching deep in the ball games. He has 6 quality starts already this season.
Has not given up a run in his last 2 starts, Cincinnati and at New York. When you look at his numbers in his day-to-day, he gave up 8 earned runs against the Cubs in 1 start, and the other 7 starts he's given up 8 earned runs. So it's that 1 starter, his ERA would be in the 1s.
Mauer looks at a strike. Greinke ahead of Bolin, 2 strikes. And these two have scored off in their days when Greinke, of course, was with the Royals over in the American League.
Yeah, this is the 41st at bat for Joe Mauer against Zach Greinke. That's a lot of at bats. And Mauer 11 for 40, 275 batting average.
Greinke's done pretty well against the 2 MVPs in Mauer and Morneau in his career. They've not been able to hit him for the power that they have against other pitching in the American League. Neither one has homered off Greinke.
That'll be interesting to see what Greinke decides to come up with today. And his start against Cincinnati, dominated with a fastball and a slider. Had 11 strikeouts in that game, but against the Mets in New York, struck out 7. It was basically curveballs that was able to get the job done. Didn't throw many sliders. Let's see what he decides to throw today. Maybe a combination of the two.
Here's the 2-2 again, and it misses down low. 3-2 now as Mauer runs the count full. Greinke in his career against the Twins, only 3 wins in 11 decisions, so he's 3-8, and his ERA just under 5 at 4.96. Ground ball to short as Turris throws him out 2 down. Let's hear from pitching coach Rick Krenitz on Greinke's approach to the big superstars Morneau and Mauer.
The hitters may have a certain reputation. They may not be swinging or hitting a certain pitch. He's very good at that. He knows where he wants to throw the ball. He knows what the guys can hit and what they can't hit and where they can't hit it. And now it's just a matter of him executing. And, you know, he's pretty good about, you know, really preparing that way and knowing the hitters pretty well.
And you know that Greinke knows Mauer and Morneau combined 70 at-bats between the two of them. And on the flip side of that, I guess there's no surprises for those hitters against Greinke. They pretty much know what he's going to throw.
Here's Josh Willingham, who bats in between Mauer and Morneau these days as the cleanup hitter, and rightly so. His average at 289. He's providing some power for this Twins team with 8 home runs and 24 RBIs. Having a decent series, homered on Friday night. 2-run pop. Brewers were able to hold them in check in Saturday's game. So you see how the Brewers defense works their shift against Willingham. They have Masonette playing second base today. He's shaded over to the shortstop side where he gets most of his work.
Yeah, but you have the outfield straight away, which means when Willingham goes to the opposite field, it's in the air, not on the ground.
Here's the 1-2. It's low and away.
Travis Ishikawa is about as far away from the first base line as you can possibly get and still get back. But he's even with the bag. You can't be over that far and back. That's just too far away.
You need to be there for the ground out. Receive the throw. And that's how you beat the shift. You just line a single in the left field right over that infield, and that's what Willingham does. And the Twins grab the first lead here today. It's 1-0.
The first run that Greinke's given up since May 4th against the Giants. It goes out and gets a fastball at 95 miles an hour. And once again, the Twins take a lead.
Willingham over at first, and now Justin Morneau. Mentioned Greinke's career record against the Twins. He had a no decision a year ago at Target Field as Morneau down in the corner, and is that fair or foul? Foul ball. Boy, he hit it a ton right down the line. He jumped on that first pitch.
That first pitch fastball, and Morneau just a little bit ahead of it. It was hooking as it got out there to the foul pole.
Checking his bat to see if there's a crack in it, and it appears to be just fine. So now Greinke ahead 2 strikes on Justin Morneau. 244 this season. He has 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. Just came off the disabled list earlier this week. And his first day back, hit a home run against the Tigers.
Man, another crazy shift employed by Milwaukee. You got Masonette out in short right field. Turris is on the second base side of the bag, and Taylor Green's all alone on the left side.
Ishikawa holding the runner at first. That just misses.
Yep, Greinke thought he had the plate. Good take, I think. That was a pretty good pitch.
See what Greinke can do now to counter. 2 down here in the Minnesota first. Here's the 2-2. There it is, strike 3. Greinke went right back at it with the fastball. Nice and low. Twins get 1. Now it's the Brewers' turn here in the first. There's Carlos Gomez. He was activated today in that Brewer dugout, not getting the start, but he is ready to get back to work. Our Piggly Wiggly starting lineup for the Brewers. Corey Hart back at the top of the order. Then it's Morgan, Braun, Jonathan LaCroix, your cleanup hitter today. Taylor Green, Ishikawa, Turris, Masonette, and the pitcher Zach Greinke. Jason Marquis out on the hill, ready to make his 7th start. He has had mixed results in his career against Milwaukee, and that's kind of how this season is going for him as well.
Yeah, it's been a rough one. Look at the ERA, 6.68 in his 7th start today. More walks than strikeouts. It's been a rough start to his season. Well, he's right. He gets a lot of ground ball outs. He's got a good sinker.
So Jason Marquis to face Corey Hart right out of the gates here in the first inning, and Milwaukee's going to have to come from behind already. They're down 1-0 in this game as the Twins were able to get to Zach Greinke for a run. Corey Hart 257 on the season, 8 home runs and 18 RBIs. And Corey doing a pretty good job at the top of the order for the Brewers. Had a double and a single in yesterday's game, sandwiched around 3 strikeouts. And on Friday night, his first 2 appearances, he had base hits. So Corey getting on base, and that's exactly what the Brewers need. In fact, 1, 2, and 3 in this series, Milwaukee hitters have done a nice job.
Yep, number 2 hitters, Nigel Morgan and Noria Oki, have done a nice job as well. Something the Brewers have been looking for a while now.
Deep and long gone for Corey Hart. That didn't take long to tie it up. And that's what Corey Hart can do at the top of that lineup as well. Provide some power. And a leadoff home run for Milwaukee's right fielder.
Boy, that one almost over everything out there in the Lowe's level and left. Wow, Corey Hart got all that one. Powerball home run count for Hart. There's that sinker up in his zone, number 9 for Corey, and it ties it up. Question is, how far is that going to go? Nearly over everything out there and left.
Here's Nigel Morgan. Takes a swing at that first pitch, and he is thrown out by Jamie Carroll. Here's one more look. Corey Hart, his 8th career leadoff home run.
And the 8th allowed by Marquis so far this year. He gave up 3 home runs against the Indians in his last start.
Now here's Ryan Braun. Well, Corey Hart said the other day he is very comfortable at the top of the order, and you mentioned it yesterday. He asked to, in the last couple of weeks, if you need me to make the move to the top, I'm there for you.
Yeah, he likes it up there. He went to Greinke when the team was in San Francisco. If you want to make the move, I'm good with it. Well, certain hitters just like certain spots in the batting order, and the leadoff spot's been good to Corey.
Here's Ryan Braun, 319 on the season, 11 home runs. Having a good series, 5 for 9. He's hit a home run and also driven in 3 here this weekend. Little chopper to second base, and Carroll for the second out. Let's take a look at that defense behind Marquis. Presented by Menards. Willingham, Span, and Revere in that outfield. Flute, Dozier, Carroll, and Morneau around the infield. And Maurer behind the plate for Jason Marquis. Trevor Flute was the hero in yesterday's game, hitting a home run in the 11th inning. An extra innings win for Minnesota, 5-4 in yesterday's game, and he is swinging a hot home run bat as of late for the Twins. He's hit 3 on their road trip. Maybe none bigger than the 1 in extra innings yesterday, though.
Yeah, the only hitter that really Manny Parra got behind. He got behind him 2-0. Manny had to throw the fastball, and Plouffe hit it out of the ballpark.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy, one of the Brewer team, but in baseball right now. Lucroy at .330 on the season.
It really doesn't matter where he hits in the batting order. There's only been 3 spots now that Lucroy has not hit in the batting order. 1st, 3rd, and 9th. Everywhere else he's been.
And he hits one to left field. And this one's gone. Jonathan Lucroy, what more can he do for you? That's his 3rd home run, and the Brewers now have the lead here in the opening inning. It's 2-1.
They love him here in Milwaukee, and they continue to love him even more. Check it out. There's that sinker. Didn't do anything, and just kind of tailing right into the barrel of the bat, and Lucroy able to pull it on out of here. So regardless of where Lucroy hits in the order, he just seems to get the job done.
That's Lucroy's first home run since April 15th. And now Taylor Green, the Brewer third baseman today.
It'd be nice for the Brewers to just wear out Bernie Brewer today. They are due to explode on somebody. And maybe today's the day.
Wrong ball, Morneau will take care of it. But the Brewers grab the lead, and they use their power. Corey Hart and Jonathan Lucroy going long. It's 2-1. Corey Hart with a home run in the first inning, and also Jonathan Lucroy. It's 2-1 Milwaukee, as the new batting order starting to pay some dividends for Ron Renneke, and they stake Zach Greinke now to a lead as he opens up the second inning against the Twins. Gave up a first inning run to Minnesota, and that snapped a string of 15 scoreless innings by Greinke, but won't matter to him as long as he's got the lead. He works against Brian Dozier here to open up the second. Dozier at 286, couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. And he tries to bunt his way on it. It's foul. Brewers trying to avoid a sweep by the Twins here in Milwaukee, a 3-gamer since 1978. And if they continue to pound the ball against Jason Marquis, they'll avoid it. Lucroy, by the way, batting fourth today. He's the first Brewer catcher to bat in the cleanup spot since Dave Nilsson in 1999.
Yeah.
Greinke gets the strikeout. Let's check in now with Drew Olson. More on Corey Hart, Drew.
Yeah, guys, Ron Renneke said before the game that he would love to give Corey Hart a day off. Today is the 40th start in the outfield for Corey Hart, and it's the 41st game. The only thing is, Corey Hart's been one of the Brewers' few hot hitters this season, and Renneke just can't bring himself to take him out of the lineup. He wants to give him a rest soon, but I'm sure he's glad he didn't rest him today.
Not again. I mean, when you're hot, I mean, players want to stay in the lineup. It's when you're having a tough time. Maybe a day off will do you good, and you got to keep him in there. Brewers have a team day off on Thursday. But sometimes that's quite not the same. You know, you show up to the ballpark, you get a day off, you got to sit back, watch the game a little bit, and those are the days off that really help you, not so much the team days off.
Trevor Plouffe now batting against Zach Greinke. Of course, he hit the pinch hit home run yesterday, and not the pinch hit, but the home run in the 11th inning. That decided a game for the Twins. Here's the 2-2 to Plouffe. Little chopper is Turris.
Hey, tickets to Spring Madness next week are half price plus small Pepsi products, and Clement's hot dogs are $1 each. Visit brewers.com/madness.
Good crowd here on this Sunday afternoon to watch the Twins and the Brewers. We had a sellout in yesterday's game. And now Jamie Carroll bats for Minnesota. 231 on the season. Started over at third the first 2 games. Now over at second base today. First pitch, a strike from Zach Greinke. And another one from the Brewer ace.
Man, there's that two-seamer at 92 miles an hour. We've already seen Zach throwing around 95. And different speeds, different movement on the fastball.
His last home start against the Reds did very well on May 9th. And doing very well here. This time looking for a victory. Another strikeout for Greinke. That's 3 already in the game. As we move to the bottom of the second, Milwaukee leads it 2-1. Ishikawa set the lead off for the Brewers. They have a 2-1 lead here in the second. Sundays on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Whitey Ford, Boys in the Hall after the game, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Travis Ishikawa getting the start over at first base today, and he's done very well in his starts over there. Batting .333, 4 home runs and 11 RBIs when he gets the start at first base. In there today with the Brewers leading 2-1 in his first at-bat. Big issue for Ishikawa is putting together back-to-back good ball games. And that's been part of the platooning system, a big platoon that's been used over at first.
And Ron Rennick just continues to try different guys in different spots in the lineup and the batting order, and that's all a manager can do. He can't go up there and get base hits. He's trying to figure out ways to plug the holes that were left with Gamble and Gonzalez being out for the year. It's proven to be a very tough thing to do.
And he was talking about Corey Hart moving over to first base today. He said he and Doug Melvin are going to further discuss that option. He said it's probably not going to happen anytime real soon here, but they're thinking about different possibilities. And one of his concerns right now is if he puts Corey Hart over at first base, he wants to do it more on a permanent basis. He doesn't want him to shift around from first base to outfield. But if he does go to first, he's concerned about the offense they'll miss from that position out in right.
Well, and again, I think that, the way Corey's, swinging the bat right now, he's got that comfort level being in right field. Who knows if he moves him to first base, maybe a little bit too much of his concentration will be trying to learn the position, and his offense will suffer. And Ron Rennick just can't afford that right now.
Ishikawa up the middle, base hit. Good start to the second inning for the Brewers is Ishikawa on first base.
Good job by Ishikawa waiting back on that sinker, going away from him. Able to wait back, good point of contact, lets the ball travel and bangs it right back through the middle. That's a good at bat by Ishikawa. Left-handers, that's what you have to do with Jason Marquis when he's got that sinker going. You got to wait on it and you got to shoot it right back through the middle. You try and pull it, it's going to be a lot of 4-3 putouts.
Here's Travis Ishikawa now.
When I talk about plugging the holes with the absence of Gamble and Gonzalez, and what I mean by that, not that his Turris is not doing a good job defensively and getting his hits, he is, but when you have your utility players in the starting lineup, it weakens your bench.
And it's Turris yesterday coming off the bench as Masonette got the start over at short. As Turris, the switch hitter, batting from the left side, where he's been more productive this year at .261.
Now your veterans coming off the bench all of a sudden are in the starting lineup. Then you have to bring up kids from the minor leagues that really haven't had a lot of experience at the major league level. And then you're asking these guys to come in late in the game and get pinch hits, and that's tough to do for young players.
Carlos Gomez activated today, and Brooks Conrad sent back down to AAA Nashville. And there's a case right there where they wanted Brooks Conrad to come in and more of a veteran player and get some pitch-ins off the bench, and he wasn't able to even get one single hit, surprisingly.
I mean, he just started to grind it out, and it just got worse and worse for Conrad. That's what happens. We saw that a few years ago. Remember, Brad Nelson had a big spring training, and he made the ball club and just was not able to get in the groove. And Conrad sent down to the minor leagues. Gomez activated today.
Ishikawa on the run, and as Turris fouls one off.
Gomez so excited to be back in the big leagues today that he actually was one of the catchers for the ceremonial first pitch.
There you go.
He says, I'm getting on the field somehow today.
Well, you have the right-handed pitcher Marquis out there, so it didn't make sense to start Gomez right out of the gates here today. High fly ball into very shallow right field. Carroll makes the play, and there's one down here in the second inning. So Ishikawa stays at first base as Churers can't advance him over. That's one of the things that Ron Renneke was talking about, approaches at the plate today, and failures of doing some of the little things. You get a leadoff single by Ishikawa, and your hope is to advance him around at the very least.
Yeah, and those things become very important stories after a game where you lose, when you're not really swinging the bats like you can. All those little things seem to add up.
So now Edwin Masonette, Brewers second baseman today. Ricky Weeks getting a much needed day off. He's a tough player to take out of the lineup because mentally he's so tough, and he has been saying through his hitting slump that things aren't bothering him and everything's okay and his confidence level is up. But Ron Renneke decided after the game yesterday, had a discussion with Ricky Weeks, and they decided to give him a day off today, and Watch obviously available for pinch hitting if needed later, or pinch running.
Ron Renneke has to do what he feels is best for the ball club. Ricky, scuffling the way he has been, he's been coming up in some big spots, and sooner or later, it's not just trying to make a player feel good. You got to do what's best for the club, and right now, Ron Renneke feels as though at least today, and you give Masonette an opportunity over at second, maybe he'll get a couple of hits.
Ishikawa on the run, and that bat is lost all the way into the stands by Masonette.
Going to be interference on Masonette, so Ishikawa has to go back to first.
Masonette may have tried a little too hard.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Somebody's got to be out, I would think. Here comes the discussion right here. The bat goes flying. Masonette walks across the plate, and you can see Morneau hits the batter, Masonette. And that is interference on the catcher. You can't do that. Now, if he's in the batter's box, it's a little bit different. And Ron Renneke trying to figure out what's going on. Ron Gardenhire coming out. That whole thing doesn't make any sense. There's got to be an out recorded somewhere here on an interference. It's usually the hitter is out and the runner has to go back to first base on interference. The umpire's trying to get together, and I'm not sure why they're not calling it out.
It almost appeared that Hunter Wendelstad gave the out sign.
Somebody's got to be out. It's the hitter that's out, and Ishikawa has to go back. I mean, that's the rules. I'm sure. I'm not understanding why it wasn't, ruled that way from the beginning. It wasn't. Right there now, Masonette walks across home plate. Mauer hits him in his throw. He's out automatically, and then Ishikawa has to go back to first. Not sure why they had to have a discussion on that.
Well, that's what was settled now on the field. So Masonette walks off, and Ishikawa indeed back to first base.
That'll be a 2 unassisted for Joe Mauer on the out to Masonette. Now, if he just stayed in the box and didn't walk across home plate, it would have been a no contact. Well, he did call it out. I'm not sure why the umpires had to get together. He did call it out, and then Ishikawa, because of the interference, the base runners have to return to where they started.
All right, 2 down now for Zach Greinke after that's all sorted out. Zach Greinke against Jason Marquis. And Zach Greinke has had some success against Marquis at the plate in the past. He has 2 career home runs and 1 coming off Jason Marquis. 2 hits this season for Greinke.
Marquis already given up a couple of home runs in this game. It happened in the first. Corey Hart and Jonathan Lucroy with solo home runs. That's the difference of the game early on, as Milwaukee has a 2-1 lead.
He's given up 9 home runs in 34 innings. That's a lot.
And he misses again to the Brewer pitcher, 3-0. Remember a couple of years ago when Marquis was with Washington, Milwaukee battered him for 7 runs in the opening inning, and he left without recording it out. Zach looking all the way there.
And unfortunately for the Brewers, they lost that game. Remember Counsell hit the grand slam in the first inning? Had a 10-0 lead, and Nationals came right back. I'll never forget that game. You were doing that game, weren't you?
Believe so. That was the fireworks. That was an April game, and early in the season of 2010.
It was a Sunday game, right?
Yep. At the new ballpark in Washington. Ishikawa on the run. Greinke base hit. Ishikawa is going to wind up at third, and Zach Greinke continues to have Jason Marquis' number. Nice piece of hitting there.
They got the count to full after falling behind 3-0, and a four-seamer straight as a string to Greinke, and he hammers it right back through the middle. Good at bat by Zach. And a good athletic swing by the Brewers pitcher keeps the inning alive for Corey Hart. There you go. Brewers pitcher starting to swing the bat a little bit better.
Top of the order now at Corey Hart. You got to reward Greinke now that he got a base hit to help this inning stay alive. Last game the Brewers won was with Greinke on the hill. That was earlier this week on the road trip in New York.
You know, the more I think about that game we were talking about, the Brewers did win that game, but I remember Washington came all the way back, ended up bringing the tying run to the plate late, so just to get it right.
Was that 11-7 that game? Is that, I think 11-7 was the final.
And Brewers tacked on a late run or two and made it close.
Slow roller, throw to first, and Corey Hart beat it, and the Brewers get a run as Ishikawa scores.
Yeah, good hustle by Corey Hart. He's running like a leadoff hitter these days. How about that one? A little dribble right down the third baseline on a slider. And fields it barely in fair territory. A good throw, but you can see Corey able to beat it for a hit and an RBI. So Corey Hart with 2 runs batted in the first 2 innings.
How about Corey Hart, his 3rd consecutive multi-hit game in the leadoff role for Milwaukee. So that move is definitely paying off right now as Nyjer Morgan settles in.
That's a good play by Proof to make it close.
Morgan a big game yesterday. 3 hits for Morgan, all in consecutive at-bats. Scored 3 runs, stole 2 bases in yesterday's game, and maybe even more importantly, Tony Plush appeared to make an appearance. A little energy out of Nyjer Morgan yesterday. And it's 3-0. There's one guy who wants to see Tony Plush, believe it or not, and that's the Brewer manager. He wants to see the energy. There's a strike to Morgan. He was talking about that this morning. There's one thing that this team, he believes, lacks right now, and that is some energy and some leadership. He thinks this is a quiet group.
It's a quiet group, but that's okay if you're winning ball games. I mean, there's been a lot of teams that haven't had a lot of flamboyant personalities. We don't need that, but Ron Renneke feels as though Carlos Gomez coming back to the team is going to provide a bit of a spark, get him in the lineup and swinging the bat. They might be quiet, but they are a confident group. They feel as though they're going to snap out of it.
There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of talent on this team, and it's surprising they are in the position that they are right now. But Nigel Morgan draws a walk, and they have a chance for a breakout inning here against Marquee. They've already played in 1 run. There's 2 down here in the Brewers' 2nd inning. Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, coming out to talk with Marquee as Ryan Braun awaits. Our Powerball homer leaderboard. Braun at the top of the heap right now with the 11. Corey Hart has homered today to make it 9 for him.
It's kind of been the story for Jason Marquis so far this year. He has not pitched well at all. He has given up a ton of runs this year.
The quick trip to the mound for the Minnesota pitching coach. You know, the one thing that Anderson and Ron Gardenhire wanted to see from Marquis in this game was to pick up his pace. He had gone on average 24 seconds in between pitches. The rest of his teammates are starting pitchers at about 20 seconds. They just want to get his rhythm up a little bit here, but right now he can't get his control.
Well, guys that are slow, in between pitches ordinarily are guys that aren't too confident in what they're throwing.
Ryan Braun with the bases loaded, some pretty good numbers. And this one's going to fall. 1 run is in. Here's a 2nd run. Corey Hart scores. They hold Morgan, and Braun has a 2 RBI double. And the Brewers extend their lead to 5-1.
Yep, on the first pitch. Ryan Braun not messing around. Check it out. Fastball out away from him. He's able to hook it, and that ball had some hook on it as Span tried to close the gap. That's a big hit. All because of Zach Greinke's full count, 2-out base hit to extend the inning. And he comes across to score. A couple of crooked numbers for the Brewers offense. That should get him going.
Now Jonathan Lucroy, and with runners in scoring position, nobody better in the National League right now than the Brewer catcher at .560. And he's got 2 out there right now with Braun at 2nd and Morgan over at 3rd base. .560. That is something.
That is something. That's hard to believe. That's all because of the approach of Lucroy. That's what makes him tough in these spots.
Soft floater, left field, base hit, and he does it again. 2 more come in for Lucroy. It's 7-1 Milwaukee.
Well, pitch up and in, wasn't even a strike. Lucroy got jammed, but able to muscle it out of the reach of Dozier at short. And with 2 outs, base runners running on the contact, and Nigel Morgan waving around Ryan Braun. So 7-run outburst in the first 2 innings for the Crew. Boy, they needed that.
There's Nigel Morgan. Big inning for Milwaukee. 5 so far here in the 2nd. And now Taylor Green. Rounded out to first, his first time up. That ball gets past Mauer, and Lucroy able to advance. And it did hit Green.
Hit him on the foot.
So Green takes first. Let's take a look.
Yeah, right on the back toe.
Very close. The Brewers will certainly take it at this point, and Ishikawa now bats for the second time in this inning. He started it all with a single to lead off the second inning. Swarzak starting to throw already for Minnesota in that bullpen here in the second inning. So the Brewers batting around here in the second. It's been a while since we've been able to say that.
Yeah. Well, they've been patient with Marquis, getting the count in their favor. There's been a number of 3-0 pitches this inning. Ishikawa has him at 2-0 right here, so you figure he's going to get something good to hit.
And he does. Base hit to right. Lucroy being waved around. He will score. And the inning continues for the Brewers. That's their 6th run here in the second inning. They have an 8-1 lead.
Well, 2-0 fastball once again right down the middle. And Ishikawa having a good inning. His second inning, 2 for 2. And Lucroy able to score run number 8. Ron Gardenhire just waiting at this point for Swarzak to get loose.
Joe Mauer out to talk with him. Marquis has thrown 36 pitches already in this inning alone. He tries to settle down out on the mound. Can't find that third out. Thought maybe he had it in the Brewer pitcher Zach Greinke, but Greinke battled him and kept this inning alive with 2 down. And since then, 7 consecutive batters have reached base, and this will be the end for Jason Marquis. A very early exit here at Miller Park. An inning in 2/3, 8 runs, and could be counted. Against the Milwaukee Brewers, an inning in 2/3. He's already given up 8 hits, 8 runs, all earned at this point, and responsible for 2 more runners on base right now, as the Twins forced to go to the bullpen very early before the second inning is even up. And Anthony Swarzak now comes in, another right-hander for Ron Gardenhire, makes his 12th appearance of the season.
Now Swarzak, a starting pitcher. He made 11 starts for the Twins last year. He's made 3 this year, which means he's somewhat stretched out to give Ron Gardenhire some innings here today. He appeared in the first game of this series. Swarzak. He pitched a scoreless inning in 2/3 on Friday night.
Brewers batting around here in the second inning. Cesar Torres is the 11th batter. He will bat for the second time in this inning. So is Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa with 2 singles. He scored a run and an RBI already in this frame. As Juris popped out to second base his first time up. A 6-run second inning so far for Milwaukee. First pitch misses.
Yeah, Brewers 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position in this inning. Ron Rennecke's been looking for that type of production as well.
This one fouled straight back. Those are the numbers you like to see with runners in scoring position. The Brewers already a perfect 4 for 4 today. And the 1-1 misses inside. Brewers and Twins will meet again in June in Minnesota. Two and two now to his Torres. Be interesting to see next year if they'll play the Twins twice again or not. I don't think any of that's fully been determined yet. As we expect interleague play, of course, from the opening day to the last game of the regular season next year for the first time. High fly ball right field. Revere makes the catch, and the inning finally over for Minnesota pitching, but not before the Brewers get 6 runs here in the second and bat around and now lead this one 8-1. Greinke back out on the hill, top of the 3rd inning, and he has a very comfortable lead early in the game. A 7-run cushion already, and not bad at all by Brewer hitters, considering they were behind 1-0 going in to the first inning. As you saw Jason Marquis in that Minnesota dugout. Brewers have done this to him before, knocked him out early, and they do it here this afternoon. And now they'll let their ace go to work.
Yeah, it's been a rough start to his season. Talking about Jason Marquis, just not getting much sink on his fastball, getting behind, and you got to credit the Brewers. They were patient at the plate early, got some pitches to hit, and they took advantage of it.
How about Anthony Swarzak? He makes an early appearance in the 2nd inning, and now he has to go hit right away.
It's okay. American League pitchers love going up there to swing the bat.
Marquis didn't even get to hit today.
No. Rough outing for him. We talk about Swarzak. He was a starting pitcher throughout his minor league career. He came up to the big leagues last year, made 11 starts. Split time between the starting rotation and the bullpen, doing the same this year. There's been a lot of injuries to this Minnesota Twins starting rotation. Scott Baker out for the year. Blackburn on the disabled list. Pavano pitched a pretty good game yesterday, but it's been a struggle all year for Marquis.
And Pavano was one they kept a close eye on in yesterday's game because of his sore pitching shoulder. Little chopper Ishikawa will take it himself. So one down here in the Minnesota third. Time now for our carsoup.com email the booth question here this afternoon. Comes from Jeff in Milwaukee. What do you think about playing AL rules in NL parks and NL rules in AL parks for interleague play?
Well, you're talking about just the DH. I mean, the bases are the same distance. You only get 3 outs in both leagues.
I hope it's that way.
Yeah, but that's the only way you could do it, really, right? I mean, how else can you do it?
Well, he wants the pitchers to bat in the AL parks, I think. Use the DHs here at Miller Park. So you'd use your DH here at Miller Park in this series, then you go to Minnesota and let the pitchers bat.
Oh, is that what the question was?
I think that's what he was after. You're not liking that.
And what do I think of that?
What do you think of that? It's just an idea, Rock. Change it up.
Now, what are you gaining by doing that?
Or maybe next year when you really have this issue that, of course, will be continually debated. Because now it's going to be from the game 1 to game 162. You're going to have interleague play.
I have no.
You don't think there's no debate?
I have no opinion on that. Really, I don't. I'd like to be able to say I do, but that's a little out there for me. I guess basically what I'm saying is I don't care.
That's okay. That's your opinion. It will be interesting to see, though, if anything is made, in the next few years as far as a decision one way or the other, whether you're going to have a DH or whether you're going to let pitchers hit.
That's never going to be resolved.
You don't think it'll come into more play when you're doing this every single day and bouncing from park to interleague play to back to National League parks?
The designated hitter will forever be here. I just don't see the Players Association allowing that to go away. I mean, in the American League, that's a high-priced veteran position on a ball club, and they're just not going to allow that to happen.
How about expanding the rosters? You take away the DH, expand the rosters, and you still have that guy on your bench. You're not losing a paid position player, so to say. There could be an alternative there.
I don't see the DH going away.
Okay. That's a good discussion.
A lot of different theories out there. They're all valid,
sure they are,
right? But like I said, until something happens and there's a rule change, then we'll break it down. But
DH has been around for a long time.
I guess you think the American League teams, fans want to go up there and watch their American League pitchers hit, or would they rather have David Ortiz up there at the plate? Right?
That's a very good point.
Well, it does change the whole game as far as how a manager gets to a game and works a pitching staff and a bullpen. How his bench players are used. Because you figure if you're a bench player and you're a utility player and you're a free agent, you're not going to go to the American League. You might never play. You might not play for 10 days.
A swing and a miss by Ben Revere. That ends the Twins' third inning against Zach Greinke.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. Back in Miller Park, a beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball. It's Game 3 interleague play. The Twins and the Brewers, and Milwaukee out in front big 8-1 early in this game as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Andy Swarzak, the pitcher for Minnesota, already out of the bullpen, and out of the game is Jason Marquis. So Edwin Masonette will lead off the Brewers' third inning. And he was involved in a somewhat controversial out last inning when he was called for interference when Ishikawa was trying to steal second base, getting in the way of Joe Mauer, and it turned out to be a big discussion with the umpires, but they got it right the first time and made sure that they got it right. So
that's the rules, you know, interference, you're out. Runners have to return to their bases as opposed to obstruction. That's a little bit different. Obstruction, the ball's in play. Interference, the ball's dead.
I think an instructional's coming up on that. That'd be at the top of my slate for you and Jerry later today.
You know what? We've done that.
We can do it again.
You name a topic in baseball, and we've done it post game.
That's true. Very educational, though. And when you do it again, they're good reminders if we have the same exact audience, which we don't always do, you know.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Masonette getting consecutive starts for Ron Renneke, and he's rung up on strikes for the first out here in the third. On Sunday, May 27th, NASCAR and Fox will be in Charlotte as defending champion Kevin Harvick and points leader Greg Biffle lead the world's best drivers in a chase for the checkered flag. Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing with the Coca-Cola 600 live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Sunday, May 27th, 4:30 Central Time. Looking forward to that. And now the pitcher Zach Greinke, who had a very good at bat, singled back in the second inning with 2 down to keep an inning alive that would later see the Brewers score 5 more runs.
And 6 extra hitters after Greinke's 2-out single.
That was Greinke's 3rd hit of the season. Hits it to short here. Dozier retires Greinke. And let's head down and check in with Drew Olson.
Craig, Zach Greinke may be a man of few words in the clubhouse, but one of the things he likes to talk about a lot is his hitting prowess. He had the big hit here to key the Brewers rally before, but he also had some history against Jason Marquis last year on May 25th. When Marquis was with the Nationals, Greinke hit his 2nd big league home run. This one was a swat, and it put the Brewers ahead in a game they ended up winning 6-4. He'll be talking to the guys about that hit today, guys.
He's going to have fun with it, and the Brewer pitchers, a little bit different storyline as far as success at the plate this year.
Off to a slow start, but they certainly have the ability to rack up the base hits. Ramis Ramirez out of the lineup today, and his number is the best, or almost the best of any of the Brewers. Ramirez against Marquis, 2 homers and a .370 batting average. Ryan Braun coming in at 10 for 20. There have been a number of Brewers with good success against Jason Marquis.
And Corey Hart strikes out a quick 1-2-3 inning for Swarzak. game hitting for Milwaukee, and they start early. Hart and Lucroy with home runs, and then Milwaukee goes to work for 6 runs in the second inning and chase the starter Jason Marquis back to the bench. And the Brewers own an 8-1 lead right now over the Minnesota Twins as we move to the top of the 4th inning, and Joe Mauer set to lead off for Minnesota. Jonathan Lucroy with a home run in this game. Corey Hart a home run. And Mauer and Greinke work against one another. There's a strike from Greinke, 1-1. Mauer grounded out to short back in the first inning. And we were talking about the success Greinke has had against Mauer and Morneau over his days. They have not been able to connect on the power that these guys are accustomed to in the past. Base hit there for Mauer. So a leadoff single for the Twins here in the 4th inning. Let's take you back to 2009, of course, when Zach Greinke won the Cy Young and Joe Mauer the MVP. Take a look at some very powerful numbers here and how each of these two players won their awards. Greinke doing the job with a low ERA and pretty success in the win column. Not a 20-game winner, but a low ERA, and Mauer, 365 at the plate.
Well, he couldn't do much about the wins. Kansas City, not a big offensive club, and I would imagine had he been with a team that could score runs, that record would be a lot better than that. But the strikeouts, the innings, you saw Joe Mauer's numbers as well on that graphic. Far and away, the most home runs he's ever hit in the big leagues. Not a home run hitter. He's had a good home run year that year. Has never driven in 100 runs. But certainly the franchise player with these Minnesota Twins.
Mauer, a 4-time All-Star as well. And staying healthy is the key for him at this point. Again, last year, just 82 games. He's had issues with his legs, and that's tough to do when you're a catcher.
Yeah, 28 home runs in 2009. The next most home runs he's hit, 2006 at 13. And it goes down from there. There's no question his ability to hit. A .323 career hitter at the major league level.
Josh Willingham knocked in Minnesota's only run of the game back in the first inning. High fly ball in the infield. Masonette calls for it. And there's one down. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia here this afternoon in Game 3 between the Twins and the Brewers in interleague play. Who is the last Twins pitcher to hit a home run?
Jason Marquis, a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Boy, he's had some big seasons at the plate, Jason Marquis.
Yeah, matter of fact, I read in their notes today that he ranks 5th all time amongst hits by pitchers.
Pretty impressive.
And he can rake. Batting average around 200, which is very good for a pitcher. Didn't get a chance to hit today, though.
He was knocked out before his turn in the batting order even came up. An inning and 2/3. 8 earned runs. The Brewers were able to tag on Jason Marquis. Here's Morneau. Got called out on strikes back in the first. Little chopper back to Greinke. They go for the lead runner back to first. Double play. Good job by the Brewer starter Zach Greinke to get that double play working. Another smooth, quick inning.
Brewers have an 8-1 lead, the bottom of the fourth. Let's check in with the crew in the community. The Brewers Community Foundation has had a winning start to the 50-50 season this season. The raffle has already raised more than $500,000, which means that Brewers fans have taken home half of that amount. The community always wins as we support quality organizations that are focused on health, education, recreation, and basic needs.
Okay, Drew, thanks very much. Very easy way to raise some money there and make everybody a winner. Good to see that when you're coming out to Miller Park. Definitely check it out. Niger Morgan leads off the Brewer fourth inning. Niger Morgan already making his third plate appearance. Walked back in the second and scored the Brewers' sixth run. He's had a lot of production in the number 2 spot in the batting order the last couple of days. Nori Aoki was able to put together a string of nice starts when called upon, but the last 2 days it's been Niger Morgan.
And now you have Carlos Gomez back in the fold. I would imagine that Ron Renneke is going to want to get him into a game at some point very quickly here. And before he was hurt, he was starting to play on a more regular basis. Swinging the bat pretty well was Gomez. It'd be nice to have all three of them swinging the bat and make that decision for Renneke difficult every day.
Well, you know, in turn it could be viewed as a, and there's Morgan, and base hit just enough into left field, and he starts out the Brewer fourth with a single. Well, the thing about it though, Rock, is if everybody hits, then no matter who he calls, he's hopefully guaranteed for production.
And he lays in bed dreaming about that.
Yeah,
I mean, having a tough time because everybody's hitting. That hasn't happened yet. That doesn't happen for any team, but yeah, good start to the fourth. Niger Morgan, a little flare in the left. Pitchers starting to fall for Milwaukee here today.
9 hits already for Milwaukee, and we're 3+ innings in. Here's Ryan Braun with the runner at first. Braun doubled in 2 runs back in the second. And Braun extends his current hitting streak to 9 games with that double.
He's got that average up to 322. That's more like it for Brawny. That's what we're used to seeing.
Numbers right now starting to balance out much more of what Ryan Braun is used to doing. Career averages starting to come together. Braun came into this game batting .358 over his last 25 games. He can add a double and a couple of RBIs to that total here in his 26th game during that stretch. Now the Brewers just need to piece a nice winning streak together here at home. Start winning some home series, get their home record back up. They came into this game 9-11. Look at Braun right down the right field line and all the way into the corner. Nigel Morgan being waved around third. He will score. Braun at second with another RBI double.
I'm telling you, that's an incredible hitter, Ryan Braun. I can't tell you how hard that is to do on a pitch away like that, to get on top of it. You know, a lot of guys are going to be able to hit that ball to right field, but they're going to get under it. The back shoulder drops and they hit a fly ball. But Ryan Braun, down and through, able to stay on top of it and hit a bullet down the right field line. I mean, he hits that ball as hard as a left-handed pull hitter would do. Incredible ability for Ryan Braun, and just every day you watch him, you're more amazed.
He is fun to watch. 2 doubles today. Nobody out here in the Brewer 4th inning. Already a run in.
I'd say one day in my career would I have liked to have gone up to the plate with that ability. I mean, I think a lot of guys would say that. It's got to be a lot of fun to hit when you can do that.
And Nigel Morgan, big smile on his face again. Two days in a row we've seen that from Nigel Morgan. Lucroy, who's already hit a home run today, long out to center field, allows Braun to take third.
Now that double for Ryan Braun, I mean, look at the way he's able to cover the outside corner. I mean, that's perfect technique as far as a stiff front leg. You see the turn on the back leg, and a lot of guys are going to try and serve that ball out to right field, but he drives it that way. He doesn't change his approach at all depending on where the pitch is. It's all about timing. And Ryan Braun, one of those hitters that covers every quadrant of the plate, up and away, down and in, up and in, down and away, those types of things. And not too many hitters can do that, and he does it with power.
He's something.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you watch him every day, and you're more amazed every time you watch him. He's going to go through times where he's not swinging the bat all that well. I mean, he went through a stretch, 4 games without a hit? And that was unheard of for Brawny. But he's an amazing talent, Ryan Braun.
Well, it was a slow start out of the gates for Ryan Braun, no doubt about that. But he's put together quite about a month stretch of very, very good hitting and fielding his position well. He was slowed up a little bit with nagging leg problems, but he played through it and appears to be 100% now. Taylor Green, a chance on a fly ball to get a run home. One down here and Braun at third. Green walked back in the 2nd inning. Actually, he was hit by a pitch. Right on the toe. Fly ball left field. Braun's going to tag. Will he go? Willingham. Throw in. Braun's going to get there. And the Brewers extend their lead.
10-1 Milwaukee.
And good job by Taylor Green. All of a sudden, the Brewer offense is executing well. Luke Croy with a fly out. Braun able to get the third and comes in on the fly ball to the left. Hey, come on out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Pittsburgh Pirates June 1st through the 3rd. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com. Come see Casey McGee's return to Miller Park.
Casey McGee. How about this, Rock? The Brewers scoring 10 runs. Are you ready for this?
I am.
For the first time this year. First time they've hit double digits on offense.
And they're only in the 4th inning.
41 games in. It's the first time they've been able to do that.
Who would have thought, right?
There's Travis Ishikawa, who had a big inning for Milwaukee back in the 2nd when he had 2 base hits, an RBI, and scored a run. Ishikawa getting the start at first base today. His 13th start over there. And he's playing very well in a starting role. He has 12 RBIs, 4 home runs. And he draws the walk, so he's been on board all 3 times today. That brings up Torres. Who, unfortunately for him, the outcome of making 2 outs in 1 inning back in the 2nd inning, so now you got to feel like he's due. Torres didn't start yesterday, but ended up coming into the game as a pinch hitter and then staying as a defensive replacement at shortstop the rest of the way. Fly ball into left field. Willingham gets underneath it for the final out. Brewers get a couple of more here in the 4th inning, 10-1.
Thal Acres Golf Course in Westfield. That's out there by Stevens Point. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Brian Dozier makes the first out here in the Minnesota half of the 5th inning. Take a look at our answer for AT&T Trivia. Who was the last Twins pitcher to hit a home run?
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Wow, Jim Cotton, 1972.
Kitty Cat, he could hit. Wow, 72.
Jim Cotton with the Twins and the White Sox, right?
He pitched with a number of teams.
Trevor Plouffe now the batter here with 1 down in the 5th inning. Twins have been pretty successful in interleague play. Surprised one of their pitchers hasn't been able to connect yet.
You figure they might run into one once in a while, right?
You would think so. This team 150 and 116 since interleague play began, and since 2006, 71 and 39. They've done very well. Brewers 99 and 117 all time in interleague play. Part of that is they face the Twins a lot, and the Twins, of course, usually pretty good. This is one of the rare stretches the last couple of years they've gone through.
And Brewers have had their number before this series here at Miller Park. They had won 6 straight against the Twins in interleague play before this weekend series.
Called strike 3. And Zach, of course, getting the run support here at home today. And Zach at home has been very, very good, of course, over the stretch of time, including the playoffs. 14-0 regular season, though. 19 home starts here, a 13-0 record for him. His ERA, of course, under 3, doing everything very, very well. In fact, the team lost their first start when Zach Greinke was on the hill the last time he took the start against the Reds. Look at that play by Green and the throw. Oh, and it gets past Ishikawa. Great stop, couldn't finish on the other end.
Oh, a heck of a play by Taylor Green. You know, the tough part of the play was over for him. I think he didn't realize he had a little bit more time than he thought. Look at that backhand pickup. Takes his time, and Ishikawa just flat missed it. Let's see who gets the error on that one. Short hop that Travis can't handle, so I guess it's going to be Green. But certainly a great play by Taylor, and I would imagine Ishikawa to tell you should have had that short hop.
And indeed, the error goes to Taylor Green.
That tough error for Green to eat up right there. That's a nice play.
Eric Komatsu, who the Brewers have now faced twice this year with 2 different teams. Earlier it was St. Louis, and now he's with the Twins. Former Brewer prospect. No pinch hit in the pitcher spot, the number 9 man in the order, so Swarzak is done for the day.
Now you would think that Ron Gardenhire is going to empty out his bullpen today. They have a team day off before they start a series against the White Sox. They've got 8 pitchers in their bullpen, so they're fairly well stocked.
And Komatsu strikes out against Zach Greinke. A couple of strikeouts in this frame for the Brewer A's. reverse replay as we take a look at how the Brewers exploded for 8 runs in the first 2 innings. Corey Hart got things going with a home run from the leadoff spot, and then Jonathan Lucroy from the cleanup spot for the first time in his career, also homers. But then in the second, the big inning for Milwaukee. They played 6 runs. Everybody getting in the mix as they bat around. Even Travis Ishikawa had a couple of hits during that stretch as well. So Milwaukee chasing Jason Marquis early. Didn't even make it through the second inning. And right now they own a 10-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And a new pitcher out there for the Twins. It's Burnett out on the hill. Alex Burnett making his 18th appearance.
And his bullpen's been pretty good for the Twins so far this year. Burnett threw a scoreless inning on Friday night here at Miller Park. Good numbers up and down for Alex Burnett, the right-hander.
He faces Edwin Masonette. Little grounder to second base, and Jamie Carroll takes care of him for the first out. That'll bring up Zach Greinke, who's had a successful day at the plate. He has a hit among the 10 Brewer hits as we take a look at our in-game box score right now. A lot of contributors in this one, and right off the top again, the 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters, and Greinke a big base hit in that second inning for Milwaukee with 2 down to really keep things going.
It's hard to say, but that was the biggest hit of the inning right there. That allowed 6 more batters to come to the plate. Greinke with 2 outs extends the inning, and the Brewers able to explode for a 6-run second.
And he hits it hard to left, and there's his second base hit of the game. How about that for Zach Greinke? He doubled his hit total on the season today alone.
Yeah, that fastball right down the middle. Not too many position players are going to get, pitched like that. You wonder, why can't everybody get, base hits? If Greinke's got 2 hits, well, they pitch him a little bit different, not to take anything away from him, but 4-seam fastball. The idea when you're facing a pitcher, just don't walk him, right? Throw him strikes. And Greinke able to hit the ball hard a couple of times today.
Top of the order, and Corey Hart. Big swing and a miss by the Brewer leadoff man. He had a home run back in the first inning to get things going, and also singled and scored back in the second. So productive day for Hart. 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, 2 hits. At the plate, presented by Wendy's, there's Corey Hart's day so far. Home run number 9 on the season for Corey Hart, back in the opening frame. He was inserted into the top of the lineup on Friday, and for 3 consecutive games now has multi-hit games.
Yeah, every game he's led off with a base hit. That's a good start to the offense each and every day that he's been in that leadoff spot.
And to think about it, this is going to be work in progress trying to get this Brewer offense back. 1 game can't make or break it. The second game can't, because the Brewers have lost the first 2 since he's been up there at the top of the order. But
yeah, well, 1 game can certainly get the confidence back in his offense.
It'll pop up in the infield, and Carroll takes it for the second out. Brewer fans, this season is your opportunity to get involved in our broadcast over a wide range of social media options. You can tweet your comments and questions to our Twitter handle @FSWisconsin. We'll choose some of the best each night and put them on the air. You can also follow along with the pulse of social media on our Game Connect page over at FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Zach Greinke still over at first. 2 down now for Niger Morgan. Niger's been on base twice. A walk and a base hit. He's also scored 2 runs. Niger Morgan has scored 5 runs over his last 2 starts.
No, he gets on. Corey Hart continues to get on base. It's just going to be even that much better for Ryan Braun or Aramis Ramirez. You get guys on in front of them. They have to pitch them a little bit differently. Can't pitch around them. They get good pitches to hit. There's a trickle-down effect.
Morgan works against Burnett. Burnett, the third pitcher used already for Minnesota here in this game, and we are in the 5th inning. They chase Marquis, an inning and 2/3, 8 earned runs. Well, you combine today's start and that one 2 years ago when they chased him without recording an out, and he gave up 7 earned runs. That's 15 earned runs in an inning and 2/3 and 2 starts against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Morgan fouls one back. Zach Greinke on the move on the 3-2 pitch with 2 down.
And Craig Counsell, I would imagine, somewhere in the ballpark thinking about that game you referenced. That first inning salami.
His 3rd grand slam of his career. And the 3-2 misses, so Morgan draws another walk. And he's on base for the 3rd consecutive at-bat. Greinke moves down to second, and now Ryan Braun will bat with 2 aboard and 2 down here in the Brewer 5th.
Yeah, 1 through 4 in the batting order for the Brewers have been on 9 times today already. And we're in the 5th.
Well, yesterday the top 3 hitters were 7 for 15. The rest of the team, though, just 2 for 27. Much more balanced out here today.
It's kind of the opposite of what it was early in the year.
Yeah, earlier in the year, the bottom half of the order was waiting for the top half to get on base so they could bring him around, but that wasn't happening.
Yeah, now it's all a matter of getting everybody all together hitting. Top and bottom of the order. That's hard to do, though.
Ryan Braun with 2 RBI doubles in this game. He's knocked in 3 runs. It's a thing that Ron Reineke was talking about before the game. You know, a year ago, in his first year as a manager, he could almost count on this team being able to rebound here at Miller Park. They put together 57 wins. Not the case this year. He said last year we worried when we went on the road to win, and now he says I'm more concerned when I come home at this point.
Well, I don't think anybody figured the Brewers were going to be able to, match what they did last year at Miller Park. I mean, nobody can expect that. I mean, that was incredible.
It was a record.
That success. I mean, really, you can't expect that year after year, but they'll get things together.
Braun down, a ball and 2 strikes with 2 down. And Burnett misses outside. Braun hits it hard again to left field, and this is going to fall in for a base hit. And another run is home as Greinke scores for Milwaukee. And it is now 11-1.
Everything's fallen from Milwaukee today. A couple of jam shots have fallen into left field. Good pitch by Burnett. Not much you can do about it. In off the plate on the hands of Brawny, but he's too strong.
And he muscles it out there into left field for another 2-out RBI.
So Ryan Braun now with 4 RBIs on the day. And we're only halfway through this one. Lucroy into right field, and a diving catch out there by Revere. What a play to end the inning. Twins might be down 10 runs, but how about that effort by Ben Revere? As he robs Jonathan Lucroy with a great catch in right field. Zach Greinke and the Brewers out in front 11-1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club, LP. Along with Bill Schroeder, I'm Craig Kashan. Drew Olson in the stands here today at Miller Park. Game 3 in interleague play between the Twins and the Brewers, and Milwaukee needing a win today to salvage one game out of this series. The Twins winning the first 2, and they come out hitting big, and Zach Greinke part of the action at the plate and out on the mound as he continues his groove as one of Milwaukee's ace pitchers right now. Bernard Span in the infield, and Green takes care of it for the first out. So one down quickly here in the Minnesota 6th.
Now the big inning for the Brewers was when Greinke came out in the second and tossed a 3-up, 3-down inning when the Brewers were able to give him a 2-1 lead. You know, Greinke gave up that run in the first time he's given up a run in 3 starts. He settled things down, and the Brewers able to explode for 6 in the bottom of the second.
So now Ben Revere, who made an outstanding catch to end the Brewer 5th inning.
He's done a nice job in this series. He just got called up, and it's going to be tough for Gardenhire to keep him out of the lineup.
Well, he's got speed, and he's flashing the leather out in the outfield. He's done a nice job at the plate as well. Grounds out here, so 2 down. That'll bring up Joe Mauer as Zach Greinke cruises on the mound. He's given up just a run on 3 hits, had his scoreless inning streak of 15 straight snapped in the opening frame, but now look what he's done since. 4 scoreless innings, maybe 5 in a row here if he gets Mauer. Last 7 starts, Zach Greinke has only given up 9 runs total. 9 earned runs. And he's looking to end a Brewers 4-game losing streak here right now. Last time the Brewers won when he was out on the mound on the 15th at New York. 3-1 now to Mauer. Pitch count at 85 right now. We are in the 6th inning. A nice piece of hitting as Mauer takes it the other way on the 3-1 pitch.
That's the thing about Mauer. I mean, he can spank that baseball to left field, but the Twins, I would imagine on a normal day, you get a 3-1 count. You want to try and go up there and hit one out of the ballpark. That's something he doesn't do. Good pitch by Greinke on a 3-1 count. Mauer gets the base hit, but that's okay with 2 outs and nobody on. This doesn't have the power to really scare you with a long ball.
So 2 down here in the Minnesota 6th inning. Darren Mastroianni now pinch hitting. So Willingham out of the game. Mauer has 2 of the 4 hits against Greinke in this game for Minnesota. And a walk is given up, so 2 reach after 2 are down. Cesar Torres has been a utility player for years, but is being pressed into a full-time role this season. Find out how he's adjusting in Ryan Karchi's story at FoxSportsWisconsin.com.
Done a nice job defensively, has Torres. He really has, and that's all the Brewers can expect from him.
Going to try to give it out there on an everyday basis as much as you can. Masonette got the start yesterday, but if he can give you at least 5 starts a week and continue to play good defense,
anything he gives you with the bat is going to be a bonus. It's going to be the responsibility of the rest of the guys in the lineup to drive in the runs. If he plays good, solid defense, which he's done, I think the Brewers will be very happy.
all right, so Jonathan Lucroy able to collect himself, and Morneau pops one up on the next pitch. Corey Hart calling for it in right field. Now Niger Morgan calls him off and ends this 6th inning for Minnesota. 11-1 Milwaukee.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
At each non-marquee home game, fans can purchase a half-price Loge bleacher ticket in the Club Goodwill bleacher section at Miller Park. Club Goodwill tickets are sold at the ticket windows in left field.
Speaking of left field, Darren Mastroianni stays in the game and takes over for Willingham in that spot for Minnesota.
Mastroianni takes over for Willingham. Those are two long names.
I'd say.
You did a nice job pronouncing that guy's name, too, by the way.
Well, you know.
I avoided that the whole series.
Did you? Taylor Green. You got to like names like Green, Smith, and Johnson, don't you?
Yes, I do. Mauer, Carroll, yeah, Revere. They're easy for me.
Taylor Green, a big hack there. Taylor Green, a sacrifice fly for an RBI back in the 4th inning. He was also hit by a pitch. Average for Green at 217. He hasn't, in his limited time, been able to piece together some good hitting so far here on the big league level this season. It's hard to do in spot duty, though. And he strikes out. So there's your first out here in the inning. Hey fans, you can register now for the 2013 Brewers Fantasy Camp next February as we salute Team Streak, the 1987 Brewers. Relived the 13-0 start, Paul Molitor's hitting streak, and Juan Nieves' no-hitter. All-inclusive packages include uniform, airfare, hotel, and daily games coached by Brewers from that 87 team at the Brewers Spring Training Complex in Arizona. For more information, call 262-679-3612 or go to brewers.com/fantasycamp.
January 27th to February 3rd.
And you are running the show.
I love that.
Another great year, right?
Talk about great baseball fans, those folks that show up at fantasy camp. We have women that go. But you have to be 30 and over. Because I think if you're a little bit under 30, you kind of feel like maybe Doug Melvin might take a look at you and sign you up. Guys get a little bit too intense.
You never know, right?
When you hit 30, you kind of give up on that.
Do you lose your intensity or just lose your will to be a Major League Baseball player?
None of that. You just you kind of understand that you've got no shot.
There you go. You're wiser by the time you're 30 or over.
You're
wiser with your body.
You're more in tune with reality.
That's a good one right there.
For the most part. Not to say that everybody young is like that, but.
Travis Ishikawa bats with one down. What's the average age of a fantasy camper?
About 45.
About 45.
45 years old, yeah, 45. Mid-40s. They've got guys in their 80s that come to fantasy camp.
How about that?
Yeah.
Ishikawa into the gap and left, and a nice running catch out there by Mastroianni. Just into the game, hauled into duty defensively. Two down for Alex Burnett. And now Cesar Izturis.
Yeah, good approach by Ishikawa. He hit that ball well into the gap out in left center, opposite field, but look how deep Mastroianni is out there in left, able to haul it in right at the warning track. And nice catch out there in left.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals have been scuffling as of late. They've lost 3 in a row and 7 of 10, and now Lance Berkman lands back on the disabled list with a right knee injury. It's the second time he's been on the DL.
And that's going to be the big question for the Cardinals all year. Are they going to be able to stay healthy?
Off to a fast start as Izturis gets his first hit of the game. I'll tell you what, you have to look at the standings if you're wondering about where the Brewers could possibly go and why you think that they still have confidence. They're still a talented team, but they're through this string of bad luck that the Brewers have had here lately, 8 games below 500. They're only 6 games out.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse. I mean, nobody really taking hold of the division. It looked like the Cardinals were going to put together a pretty good stretch, but they haven't played all that well lately. Only 2 teams in the division coming into play today over 500. That's Cincinnati and St. Louis.
How about the NL East, where everybody's over 500? All 5 teams.
Yeah.
Atlanta leading the way. Atlanta and Washington have played very good baseball through the first 40 games. And then out west, Los Angeles has been way out in front of everyone else. But of course, Matt Kemp on the DL right now. They've still won 3 in a row. Giants are in second place in the West, 21-19, 6 games back. They come to Milwaukee tomorrow. Second go around with the Giants for the Brewers here in the last few weeks. They were just out west a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be Bumgarner against Randy Wolf. Bumgarner beat the Brewers, back in San Francisco. That guy's got good stuff.
1-2 to Masonette, misses outside. Randy Wolf along with Marco Estrada. Starters taking their spot up there on the top row of the dugout. They're always watching what today's starter does out there. Masonette hanging tough. Here's the 2-2. And another fly ball. And taken by the second baseman, Jamie Carroll, for the final out. We're through 6. Brewers up by 10. Game summary: Corey Hart and Jonathan Lucroy getting things going in the first inning with solo home runs, and then in the 6th, Milwaukee scores 6 runs. A lot of contributors on offense for the Brewers. Ryan Braun with 4 RBIs in the game, and on the hill, Zach Greinke gave up a first inning run, and that has been it the rest of the way. He has shut down the Twins on 4 hits. And our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery for Zach Greinke at 95, and Jason Marquis, who lasts just an inning and 2/3 at 91. Today's starters, with Greinke well in hand to win another one. And defensively behind Greinke, Ishikawa moving from first to right. And Corey Hart moving from right to first base. This is the scenario that Ron Renneke wants to get Corey Hart a little more acclimated with, of taking over first base when the Brewers have a big lead. So that's an opportunity here when they're up 11-1.
Yeah, just get some reps over there in a either a big lead or you're way behind. You give them an opportunity to get comfortable, play some ground balls, catch some throws over from first base.
And again, it's a subject that the Brewers are still talking about and discussing and trying to come up with a game plan really either way, whether Corey Hart may make some more starts over at first or not as Dozier flies out to Morgan.
Well, and that will certainly depend on whoever's at first base right now, if they're able to get the job done. Ishikawa is swinging the bat well right now. You figure he's going to get opportunities. It's really mainly when you consider, what Renneke can do against a left-handed pitcher. I mean, tomorrow, case in point, Madison Bumgarner is going to be starting for the Giants. He's a tough lefty, particularly against left-handed hitters.
And there's a base hit by Trevor Plouffe, the 5th base hit of the game, given up by Greinke.
But what he doesn't want to do is bounce Corey Hart back between right field and first base. He just doesn't want to do that. He wants to stick him in one spot, wherever that may be. But there's an opportunity to get him some practice over there. And Plouffe, his first base hit of the day on a two-seamer. Greinke's thrown a lot of two-seam fastballs, 91, 92 miles an hour. We saw the 95 that he threw on that last graphic, but that was in the first inning early. Most of them have been around 92 miles an hour.
Zach Greinke and his pitch count approaching 100. It's at 98 right here with this pitch, which is fouled away. So he's in good shape to finish up the 7th inning. And this is what Zach's been doing for some time now, going deep into ball games and really limiting opponents and staying in control. He gave up a rare walk last inning to Mastroianni.
Yeah, first walk in 3 starts for Greinke. That's not bad. Pitch count in pretty good shape.
Jamie Carroll working the count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Greinke misses outside, so it's full at 3-2. Bouncer Masonette, nice play, gets the lead runner out there. No, the ball gets passed and into left field, so the runners are able to advance.
Well, no reason to make that throw to second. You got a 10-run lead, just getting out at first. Tried to get the force, got rid of it too quickly as Turris couldn't handle it, and it'll be an error. Should have gone to first for the sure out.
The second error of the ball game by the Brewers. They've made 8 errors in this series against the Twins. And now Alexei Casilla will jump in as a pinch hitter in the number 9 spot. You're right, Rock. You got to play it smart. And Brewers have been a bit sloppy, to say the least, in this series.
Yeah, it's almost as if his tourist was surprised that he threw to second base. I mean, in a close game, sure, you make that throw and you cut down the lead runner, but in a 10-run lead, you just get outs. You get the easiest outs that you can get.
Right to Green, holds the runner at third. Nice job there. Let's take you back to April 12th in Chicago. Zach Greinke got roughed up at Wrigley Field. But since then, he gave up 8 earned runs in that game. Since then, he has given up a total of 9 earned runs. And you see what he's done in his last 6 starts, a 3-0 mark, and looking to increase that here against the Twins today.
And the most runs he's given up since that start is 3. That was a 3-run outing against the Giants at San Francisco. 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. And after that 3 earned run game, he had 2 consecutive games, Cincinnati and New York, where he did not allow a run in 15 innings. Well, he has been outstanding all year.
There's Denard Span now on top of the order. Span 0 for 3 in this game. Zach trying to win another home game here as well. Boy, he sure pitched. I mean, he pitched one of his better games in a Brewer uniform in his last start here on May 9th, but the Brewers couldn't get a win for him. 8 scoreless innings with 11 strikeouts and no walks in that game. Gave up just 2 hits. Brewers have been getting some good starts from their starters.
Well, that whole thing about Zach not being able to pitch on the road, that's gone now. I mean, he's pitched as well on the road as he has at home this year, except, of course, for that 1 start.
Zach with 2 road wins under his belt this season, including obviously the most recent in New York. Also one at St. Louis. Span draws a walk, so Greinke gives up his 2nd walk of the game. That comes here in the 7th inning. So all of a sudden the bases are loaded, and now Ron Roenicke is set to make a change here. He comes out to talk with Hunter Wentelstad. And it's going to be Perez. We'll have more on his storyline when we come back.
top of the 7th inning. Carlos Gomez brings some energy to the field as part of a double switch here. And guys, Carlos Gomez spent his 4-game rehab assignment in Class A Wisconsin, and he took care of his teammates. It's tradition in the minor leagues for a rehabbing big leaguer to pay for meals. Carlos Gomez took care of that.
I take the guys they invite me to go to Hooters. We go Hooters, almost half of the team, and we kill some chicken wings there, like almost 100-some chicken wings. And last night we get some steak, nice steak, and we enjoy. And definitely I get here like 1 a.m.
Needless to say, the Timber Rattlers were sad to see Carlos go because they were eating very well. And Rock, this only goes for when he's in the minor league, so don't try to send him your check next week in Arizona, okay?
Yeah, I know better than that. Yeah, okay. That's nice of Carlos to do that. I mean, back-to-back days, you know, feeding the guys. That's an unwritten kind of rule amongst big leaguers when they go down. I had to do that when I went on rehab, went down to Denver.
Did you go to Hooters?
No.
Okay. Carlos Gomez, very revealing there. I like that. They killed some chicken wings, about 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Juan Perez now in. Bases loaded, 2 down here in the 7th inning. He faces Ben Revere. Perez made his Brewer debut here in the big leagues yesterday, but had a rough outing. Hit a batter with the bases loaded.
That's that signature breaking pitch from Perez. He's got a good one. He's tough against lefties. Came in yesterday's ball game, walked the batter, and hit another. He's going to have to get the job done in these spots. That's why he's up here, to get a left-hander or 2 out, and then he'll be done. Looked good in spring training before he got that collapsed lung.
Elijah Morgan taking care of a beach ball. He's now in right field as Gomez came in to take over in center. Ishikawa goes out on the double switch. And Revere offered and strikes out. So good job by Perez. Good recovery here after yesterday's debut. And Zach Greinke keeps that earned run average nice and low. Our Sunday tradition, God bless America, here at Miller Park.
As we honor our great nation with God Bless America, led by Martina McBride.
11-1 lead. All smiles in that Brewer dugout here today. Some changes defensively. Alexei Casilla stays in the game, takes over at third base, and Trevor Plouffe moves over to first base as Justin Morneau now out of the game. And a new pitcher out on the hill, Jeff Gray, making his 18th appearance out of the bullpen for Minnesota.
Yeah, we saw Gray in yesterday's ball game. He pitched an inning, gave up a couple of hits, but also struck out a couple of batters. You can see a common theme with this Twins bullpen. Pretty good numbers up and down. A 3-0 record and a 2.00 earned run average.
And a big ovation for Carlos Gomez, who makes his first plate appearance since coming off the disabled list now. Fans love Gogo, love his enthusiasm, his energy. And he was playing very well before he aggravated a hamstring. Just when Ron Renneke was getting ready to hand the leadoff role to Gomez, it was in that same game on the road that Gomez went down and they were forced to put him on the disabled list.
Yep, on a routine fly ball to center field, Gomez only knows one speed, and that's 1,000%.
Look at him go to hitting right away. Base hit to center field for Gomez.
Brewers turning the tables on the Twins today. Hit number 14 from Milwaukee after the Twins laid a big hit output on them in yesterday's ball game. I should say on Friday it was 16 hits, wasn't it?
Yeah, Friday was the big hit parade for the Twins, the opening game of the series. And the Brewers with a season high in hits in a game right now at 14. So they've scored the most runs, had the most base hits in a single game all season long right here. And this is the guy that got it going. Corey Hart led off the game with a home run. Corey Hart with 2 hits in this game. Home run and a single, 2 RBIs. He scored 2 runs. Gomez was out testing his legs and his speed before the game, as well as we take a look at Corey Hart's home run back in the first, and it was a booming, long home run.
About 3 rows from leaving the building. I thought maybe that ball would be over the bleachers out there in the Lowe's level and left. 3rd row from the top. That's a good start to the day from Milwaukee.
Good things were on the way after that home run. Jerry Narron and Ron Renneke in that dugout. A little sigh of relief, at least for one game. Here's the 1-2 to Hart. Hammers it hard down the left field line. Just foul. Not by much. Oh, so close.
Then Bob Davidson, the third base umpire, giving a call. Ed Cedar, no argument from him. Ball hooking as it gets out there. Didn't miss that left field line by much. And a good call down there at third base.
Bob Davidson, who returned yesterday after serving a 1-game suspension by Major League Baseball after his altercation with Charlie Manuel, the Phillies manager, earlier in the week. Corey Hart fouls another one away. Gray, the third pitcher out of the bullpen. for Minnesota today. Corey Hart going the other way. Nice piece of hitting and a good at bat for Corey Hart. His 3rd hit of the ball game.
Man, beautiful approach by Hart. You know, slider had hung up in the strike zone, and with 2 strikes, didn't try and pull it. Hit a rope into right field. Oh, when it rains, it pours, doesn't it? They say hitting is contagious. That's why they say that, you know. Days like this. Even when the Brewers haven't hit the ball hard, they've been falling in today.
And you can also say it's about time, right?
Yeah, it is about time.
First 2 batters reach for the Brewers here in the 7th inning. That'll bring up Nyjer Morgan. A couple of walks and a base hit for Nyjer Morgan today. 3 runs scored. Check that 2-run score. Morgan's finally got that average above 200 a little more consistently now from game to game at 216. And this time he gets hit. So now bases loaded, nobody out, and the Brewers have a chance for another big inning here against the Twins. And now Nori Aoki will bat. Ryan Braun out of the game.
I'm not sure where that was supposed to be, but it gets Morgan in the back of the leg. Not even close. Oh, well. I would imagine Ryan Braun would have just as soon get an at-bat in this situation. Bases loaded, nobody out, saying, hey, what about me here? You can take me out after this at-bat.
And Ryan Braun's had quite a day already. He's got 4 RBIs, 3 hits. And we'll watch his teammate Aoki bat. And he takes a swing at that first pitch.
Got RBIs all over the bases, and Ryan Braun gets to sit and watch.
295 on the season for Aoki. And it's been tough to not have him in the starting lineup the last 2 games. A .435 average over his last 10 games. He's been doing a nice job with his approach at the plate, getting on base, being a table setter.
He made a heck of a catch out there in center field this weekend.
The over the shoulder catch. Little chopper in the infield. And he'll have to go to first for Aoki, and he beat it. He's safe when it runs home.
A little nonchalant out there. It's short by Dozier. I think he's going to hear about that in that dugout. Kind of took his time going after it, and Aoki busted it down that line right away. Look how quickly he gets out of the box. A little bit lackadaisical to get the throw over there, and he beats it. Really showing good hustle today. Yeah, sniffing the base hit, and he gets it, and an RBI.
Base is still loaded, nobody out here in the 7th inning. And Jonathan Lucroy is up. Lucroy not used to batting in this situation. There's not 2 outs. He's got 3 RBIs, and 2 of those coming on a 2-out single back in that 2nd inning. That 6-run inning for Milwaukee back in the 2nd.
Luke up the 23 RBIs this year, and an on-base percentage at .385.
Batting in the cleanup role today, Aramis Ramirez has the day off. Luke shoots it into the gap, and out of here! A grand slam for Jonathan Lucroy. Boy, did that ball carry. First career grand slam for Jonathan Lucroy and his 2nd home run of the game.
well-deserved curtain call for Jonathan Lucroy. 2 home runs, first career grand slam, and 7 RBIs in this game. Wow.
Yep, a 5 spot for the Brewers, still nobody out.
Wow. 16-1 Milwaukee. What a day for Jonathan Lucroy. 2 home runs, including this grand slam moments ago.
Yep, and that was on an 0-2 pitch, and Lucroy driving that one hard to the opposite field. That's what he's been doing all year. This time he gets under it just enough, right off the top of the wall, bounces into the Twins bullpen for a grand slam for Lucroy. How about the day for Luke? 6 ribbies today.
First career grand slam for Jonathan Lucroy. Doubled his home run output today as well, from 2 to 4. And now Taylor Green. 16-1 Milwaukee, 16 runs on 17 hits. All season highs. And Taylor Green is hit for the second time as Ryan Dunsing now takes over on the mound. Here's a look at that grand slam and the carry.
Nope. And over. Well, Lucroy and Braun with big days today. Braun with 4 RBIs. Lucroy with 6.
Seven RBIs for Luke today.
Oh, Luke's got 7.
It's a lot to count today, isn't there?
I missed one. That's right, he has 7. You know, a home run, a 2 RBI single, and a grand slam. Thank you.
How about that?
I'm shorting him.
We're not used to seeing this kind of offense, though, in one game, and it's good to see here today against the Twins. And now Juan Perez, who came in the game to get the final out of the Twins half of the 7th inning, stays in there, and he gets to bat. So he'll go back out there for the 8th inning with a 15-run cushion. Now, do you think he wants to swing?
He might be told not to swing.
But it might be a quality at bat before it's over.
Yeah.
Swing or not. 2-2. Green over at first. He reached
after he got hit. There's a strike from Dunsing. Still nobody out here in the Brewer. Now here's your first out with a strikeout here in the 7th inning. Brewers were able to play 5 runs already. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming texts the broadcast. Does the American League have an advantage when it comes to interleague play? Marge from South Milwaukee wants to know.
Well, since I messed up the last one, why don't you go ahead?
They might have an advantage in their own ballpark with the DH. But the National League team gets to use the extra hitter too.
Right. I agree with everything you had to say on that. Well done.
Did I even make a point? Do I ever make a point?
Yeah. I don't think anybody really has an advantage. You know, you go into these National League ballparks. Okay, I'll answer the question. I'll try anyway. Yeah, American League managers, although they know how to do the double switch and use their bench and take pitchers out, use pinch hitters. They're not used to doing it, but that doesn't mean they can't do it. They do a good job. But I think the American League, when they're in the American League ballparks, has a bit of an advantage because the designated hitter in the American League is a DH all the time. And that's a tough. It's tougher than it looks to be designated hitter. National League guys don't know how to do it.
As Torres grounds into the double play. And that ends the Brewers' 7th, but not before a grand slam from Jonathan Lucroy.
p.m. If we do see any showers, it's going to be mainly early in the day. Clouds will be breaking for some sunshine. It will be breezy with winds up to 25 miles per hour and a little cooler. Our first pitch only coming in at 62 degrees.
Take a look at our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Giants coming in tomorrow for the first of a 3-game series. We've got covered starting in Game 1 at 6:30 here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Take a look at our game reset. Ryan Braun with a big night. 3 for 4, couple of doubles, 4 RBIs. And Lucroy can better that with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in the game. Zach Greinke, a gem on the mound, but also at the plate with 2 hits. And you can see he is in line for another win here. 6 strikeouts, 6 2/3 innings of work for Zach Greinke, as he is waiting to improve to 5-1 on the season. Aoki out there in left field now for the Brewers. And over at first base, George Gutaris takes over. 16-1, the Brewers have the lead as we go to the top of the 8th inning, and they're closing the roof here at Miller Park.
It's going to rain tonight.
Getting an early start.
That's a nice thing about the roof. Could you imagine a rain delay at this point?
Oh, no. No, the roof is a beautiful thing in many ways.
Yes, it is. Close her up, open it up, and you have perfect weather no matter what's going on outside.
It was a beautiful weekend, though. The roof was open all weekend long. We had July-like temperatures here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As Mauer hits one a long ways into the gap in right center. And the Brewers get it in, and it's a double here to open up the 8th inning. Our Pizza Hut delivery of the game, Zach Greinke on the mound, gave up a first inning run, and after that put it into cruise control for the most part.
Yeah, a lot of two-seam fastballs today. He got as high as 95, but really lived around 91, 92. Used his slider a lot, the curveball, and although he did snap his scoreless stretch, he pitched another dandy here today at Miller Park.
Mastroianni now the batter with the runner out at second base. That's Joe Mauer. Mastroianni came in the game in the 6th inning for Josh Willingham.
Kind of surprised that Ron Gardenhire's left Joe Mauer in this game. I mean, let him hit, maybe use a pinch hitter, pinch runner. But in a 15-run lead, they leave him out there.
There's Turris for the first out. Especially with Minnesota's overstaffed at catcher right now. They've got Domit, of course, and Butera.
Yep.
And Butera up at the plate right now. Eagles pinch hit.
Yeah, most of the big boys for both teams are gone except for Mauer.
When Carlos Gomez came in the double switch, all three of the Brewer outfielders were all pointing at themselves saying, "Are you coming in for me?" And it was Ishikawa who went out at the time, and then Braun came out a half an inning later. And now Corey Hart out of the game as well, so they've restocked that outfield. Morgan takes over in right.
I want to send along an anniversary wish today. Mike Rodell and his wife Doris. Now, I think I've got the years wrong, but I think it's 48 years they've been married today.
Pretty impressive.
So happy anniversary, Mike and Doris.
You bet.
That is awesome.
Along those same lines, how about a big happy birthday to Loretta Stadler, who's watching the game today? A nice young 92.
Nice. Good fan. Brewer fan. Nice.
Note says she watches every game, so happy birthday. So Perez trying to make his mark with the Brewers. He was called up from AAA yesterday. Had a rough start. And just misses here, so Butera walks, 2 aboard with 1 down here in the 8th inning. That'll bring up the shortstop, Brian Dozier. 0 for 3 in this game. Minnesota a day off tomorrow in Chicago, and then they'll open up a series against the White Sox on Tuesday. The Brewers welcome in the Giants tomorrow. They have Monday and Tuesday night games, and then Wednesday afternoon they'll close out that series against the Giants and have an off day on Thursday before they hit the road.
Yeah, Arizona and LA for a week.
Back out west.
Yep.
Brewers were just out west, took a 9-game road trip with the last 6 games, of course, being in San Diego and San Francisco, and only mustered 3 wins out of that trip.
Yeah, Dodgers playing some great baseball. They won 3 in a row. They play tonight. They've got a 6-game lead already over the Giants in the West, 27-13. Dodgers have only lost 4 games at Dodger Stadium this year, 18-4.
Incredible. Now, the Brewers kind of felt that way last year at Miller Park, but trying to regain a little bit of that magic here. Looking for their 10th win in 21 games at Miller Park. It has not been easy by any stretch of the imagination for Ron Roenicke. So just a weekend of interleague play this weekend. This one slapped to left. That's a base hit. Mauer coming around. Here's the throw from Aoki. It's off the mark, and Mauer scores. And Minnesota gets their 2nd run of the game on the RBI single from Dozier.
Yeah, good hustle by Joe Mauer, down by 15 runs to give the kid an RBI. Able to slide in safely. Dozier with his first hit today.
And Ron Roenicke making his way out to the mound, and a pitching change is in order here as Perez takes the ball. 1 down here in the 8th inning. 16-2 Brewers. Watches as the Brewers have to go a little further into their bullpen, as Perez is now out here in the 8th inning, and Tim Dillard set to make his 20th appearance as he comes in with 2 on and 1 out here in the Twins' 8th inning, trying to wrap things up here with the Brewers in a big lead.
Yeah, last pitched on Friday, struck out the only batter that he faced. He stranded a couple of runners in the 6th inning, and I would imagine Roenicke looking for Dillard to finish this one out here today. 20th appearance and a 4.42 ERA for Tim Dillard.
And he'll face Trevor Plouffe, who was the hero yesterday for the Twins in the 11th inning when he hit that home run. He's trying to keep things going here for the Twins here in the 8th inning, and Dillard trying to put a stop to it. Get closer to a finish here for Milwaukee. Big lead for them. Biggest offensive game of the season for the Brewers. 16 runs and 17 hits. Not too many times that Ryan Braun's going to have a 4 RBI game and then be outdone. But Jonathan Lucroy doing it today with 7 RBIs. That ties a Brewer record. Last done by Corey Hart a year ago when he had a 7 RBI game. Becomes the 6th Brewer player to do so.
That's a good day at the office for Luke, to say nothing about the job he did behind home plate today.
Catching Zach Greinke, who's in line for his 5th win of the year.
Yeah, Damian Miller back in 07 had 7 RBIs. Richie Sexton did it. Jose Hernandez. And the first guy to do it, Ted Kubiak. That was back in 1970.
Here's a look at those prominent names you just mentioned, Rock.
Yep, 2 catchers now on that list. That's always something I look at.
That's right. Damian Miller and Jonathan Lucroy. This one hit hard right at Green to Masonette. And Kataris secures a double play. Tim Diller doing his job, getting 2 quick outs.
Brewers with a sizable 14-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Telly Hughes, Jerry Augustine getting you set for Brewers Live. And you know, Jerry, we will definitely have to talk about Jonathan Lucroy and his 7 RBI day.
Well, 3 for 5. You look at this guy, he's been swinging the bat so well lately. 3 for 5, scored 3 runs, 7 RBIs. I'll tell you what, Rock has got to be really proud up in the booth.
No, he has to be, and we'll have more coming up on Brewers Live after today's game. Our on-field instructional today, we'll talk about batters interference that happened back in the 2nd inning as the Twins are going with a position player, Drew Butera, on the mound, Greg?
How about that? Yeah, the catcher on the mound. They got 3 pitchers down in the bullpen. They actually have 4 pitchers down in the bullpen. Perkins, Liriano, Capps, and Burton. And you know, the Twins elect to go with a position player. You hate to see this, but according to Ron Gardenhire knows his team, knows the situation, and it's going to be the backup catcher on the mound.
Well, he was forced to do it a year ago when Michael Kadire was the last position player to pitch for the Twins. Did that at Texas back on July 25th. Masonette grounded out. Now Carlos Gomez making his 2nd appearance at the plate in this game, and he strikes out against Butera. Big swing, 2 quick outs.
And that's the thing, you know, they throw a little bit under hitting speed, and there's a kind of a swing that you get ordinarily, the big hack, and
The catcher able to get himself a strikeout.
Well, the pitcher and the batter can have a laugh over that.
Stuff like this has to be last resort. Nobody left, or but whatever. I mean, that's the way it goes. And you put a pitcher out there or a catcher out there to get some outs. I guess what's the harm?
Paul Janisch on May 6th of 2009 was the last position player to face the Brewers. Prince Fielder hitting a home run off of him. Carlos Gomez tried. Came up empty against Butera. And the Brewers won 15-3 in that game as Guitarras draws the walk. So it doesn't happen very often. The Twins had to do it last year, and the Brewers haven't faced a position player for 3 seasons now.
Every manager has a different theory and a way of going about that. Some managers don't like to do that, feeling as though they're kind of showing up the game a little bit. I guess if you don't have any pitchers available, it's a little bit different, but the Twins do. Let Ron Gardenhire, one of the best managers out there, certainly you can't question his decision making on things like this.
Well, once in a while games will get away from you, and this one certainly got away from the Twins, and the Brewers finally were able to catch some breaks. We've talked about it during the game. A lot of hits that finally fell into fair territory instead of in a glove. Brewers with 17 hits in this game today. They chased Jason Marquis before he could get through the 2nd inning. Brewers scored 6 in the 2nd inning. And weren't done with big innings. They had 5 in the 7th. Now the count full with 2 down to Nyjer Morgan. Another productive day for Morgan. He's been on base 3 times. Morgan to second. And there's your final out of the inning. Big day at the plate for the Brewers thanks to this guy, Jonathan Lucroy, with 7 RBIs in the game, and Milwaukee 3 outs away from getting a win here and snapping a 4-game losing streak. They're up 16-2 over the Twins. And Tim Dillard will stay in the game and try to get the final 3 outs for Milwaukee. He faces Jamie Carroll. Hitless in this game. And this one thrown behind his back, and they just threw Tim Dillard out of the game.
You got to be kidding me. Why would he be hitting somebody? That's weak. Explain why he would be throwing at somebody.
Well, Hunter Wendelstedt is
okay.
Thrown Tim Dillard out of the game.
Why would that happen? I guess a couple of batters for the Brewers have been hit today. Wow. Well, now Ron Renneke is going to have to go out and get a pitcher that he doesn't want to have to use. Trying to come inside and behind Jamie Carroll after almost hitting him with the first pitch. And Hunter Wendelstedt right away says, "You're gone."
All right, we're going to take a break, and a new Brewer pitcher coming in. Bring in Cameron Lowe in this game as Tim Dillard has been ejected. So we'll have more as Cameron Lowe takes time warming up when we come back to Miller Park.
Clinic's shining moment goes to Jonathan Lucroy. 7 RBIs. He had a solo home run in the first inning. A 2 RBI single his next time up. And then he wasn't done as Lucroy back up there in the 7th inning with the bases loaded and sent it into the Twins bullpen for a grand slam, his first career grand slam. Ties the Brewers record now with 7 RBIs. And a single game, he becomes the 6th Brewer to do so. And Jonathan Lucroy and now Cameron Lowe trying to close things out against the Twins. Tim Dillard ejected for throwing a pitch inside and then a pitch behind Jamie Carroll. So he's tossed by Hunter Wendelstedt. There were no warnings of any kind prior to that. 2 Brewer batters have been hit in this game, but
3,
yes.
Taylor Green twice and Nigel Morgan once. Well, I guess when you look at it in that context, after the first pitch and then the one behind, I guess you could see where Wendelstedt is coming from. But if indeed Dillard was trying to hit somebody, now's really not the time to do that. Not with a big lead.
Sharply hit. Nice stop by Green, and the throw over to Kataris. And 1 down.
And certainly Jamie Carroll is not the guy you go after. And not to say that anybody's trying to hit anybody, but I mean, based on the way it looked to Hunter Wendelstedt, I guess you can understand why he threw him out. I don't think anybody tried to hit anybody all day, in all honesty.
I would agree with you. There's Alexei Casilla. 1 down for the Twins. So Cameron Lowe pressed into duty. They wanted Dillard to finish things out, but he did pitch in yesterday's game against Minnesota. Brewers go back to playing National League ball tomorrow when the Giants come in. And then they'll go back to interleague play in the middle of June. When they take a trip to Kansas City on June 12th and then play the Twins that following weekend starting June 15th. They also have a home interleague series to go against Toronto starting on June 18th here at Miller Park. And then they play at the White Sox on June 27th, another weekend series in Chicago, but this time against the White Sox. So they'll go 4 consecutive series playing interleague baseball. And there's a base hit to right field. So Casilla reaches with 1 down. That'll bring up Denard Span. I think when interleague play began, a lot of people were hoping maybe an American League natural rival to play twice would be the White Sox because of the proximity Milwaukee, Chicago, but baseball chose Minnesota with the border battle.
Well, the obvious, for Chicago, the Cubs.
Sure,
right?
Didn't want to have the White Sox having
that wasn't going to work.
2 rivals. That's right.
It's not the most heated rivalry in all of baseball,
No.
the Twins and Brewers.
Neither are the Padres and Mariners, probably. They've been
right
termed to be the natural rival, so they play each other in 2 series.
Well,
sometimes it's not a good fit, right?
Well, it might not be just about the teams and how they feel about each other. It's about the fans being able to travel to the other ballpark, and that makes sense between the Brewers and Twins. A lot of Twins fans here, a lot of Brewers fans at Target Field.
It'll be interesting next year when the Astros move to the American League West, and they'll be in the same division as their state rival Texas Rangers. Two and one on Denard Span. Nice pickup by Green. That's an out. Liner.
Good base running out there by Casilla. I wasn't sure, but he stayed put. I guess he would have been an easy out at second regardless. He just stayed close in case it was caught in the air.
2 down now for Ben Revere. Brewers an out away from taking the final game of this interleague weekend series. Twins won in a rout on Friday and then won again yesterday in extra innings. Brewers battled back late. They were down 4-2, and Ramirez hit the 2-run home run, but it was Plouffe's home run, a solo shot in the 11th, that won it yesterday. And the Brewers jumping all over Jason Marquis here in the first 2 innings today, and are an out away from securing game 3. Big games offensively for Lucroy with the 7 RBIs. Ryan Braun 4 RBIs. Lucas stayed in this entire game. George Kottaras will catch for Randy Wolf tomorrow, so he'll get a break in tomorrow's game. There's Corey Hart, who began the offensive fireworks with a solo home run in the first inning. Got 2 more hits later in the game. Scored 3 runs in this one. His 3rd consecutive multi-hit game in the leadoff spot. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ben Revere. Randy Wolf looking to right his own ship by getting back on the winning track. Lost his last start against Houston. And try to get the Brewers on a winning streak here, and ball 4 as Revere walks. So this game continues. And Joe Mauer, who has surprisingly been in this entire game, will make another plate appearance.
Now, we mentioned that the Twins have tomorrow off, so I guess Mauer will get plenty of rest. He's 3 for his last 3 at bats after grounding out the short his first time up in the first inning. He's had a good series. He's always hit well against Milwaukee.
1st and 2nd for Minnesota. 2 down here in the 9th inning. Cameron Lowe is pressed into duty here after this inning began, when Tim Dillard was ejected after his 2nd inside pitch to Jamie Carroll. Didn't hit him, but was still ejected. So Cameron Lowe had to come in and get all warmed up right here on the mound. 0-2 now to Mauer. Those who are still here among the 33,000 on their feet. And this one slapped to left in the hole, and no play out there for his tourist. Made a nice stop, but too deep in the hole to make a play. So the base is loaded for Minnesota as their inning continues.
And they had him shaded up the middle a little bit, and Joe Mauer taking the ball to the opposite, 2 strikes. And the inning continues.
A 4-hit game for Joe Mauer, his first 4-hit game of the season. Here's Mastroianni. First pitch a strike from Cameron Lowe. Good starting pitching by the Brewers from Zach Greinke. In line to pick up his 5th victory of the season. As Torres bobbles it, and everybody's safe when a run comes home. And that'll be the Brewers' 3rd error of the game.
Well, it looked like it was going to end the ball game, but his Torres just couldn't handle the hop. I mean, that's the first play that he's made like that. I mean, he's played some solid defense, but that is one that got away. And Ron Renneke looking back at one of his coaches saying, what happened there?
Here's Drew Butera, who makes his 2nd plate appearance. He pitched in the last half inning for Minnesota. First position player to pitch in a year for the Twins.
Now he's up there as a pitcher, you know. So you remember that graphic about the home run, last home run by a Twins pitcher? I mean, should it happen here?
That would technically be the case.
He would be a pitcher.
Good point. Two and one. And now 3-1 to Butera. Walked his first time up. Twins have a run here in the 9th. Base is still loaded, 2 down. And Lowe walks another one and walks a run home. Boy, this game just won't end. Rick Kranitz out to talk to Lowe.
Well, because Lowe got thrown out, Lowe pressed into duty. The last thing the Brewers want to have to do is bring in somebody else now. Veras, Rodriguez, John Axford, Manny Parr is still left in the bullpen. This is not the way Ron Renneke had it mapped out. Not the way he wanted to end this game.
This game can't end soon enough for the Brewers. There's a strike to Brian Dozier. Dozier 1 for 4 in this game. Now it's 0-2. Brewers want to get through this, feel good about the win, and get set for the Giants tomorrow. See if they can do it right here. Going away. .33 pitches for Cameron Lowe in relief here in this inning. This one pops straight up in foul territory, but over the screen. Cameron Lowe will try it again against Dozier. Brewers used Perez, Dillard, and now Lowe out of the bullpen in relief of Greinke, who pitched 6 2/3 innings. Gave up just 1 earned run, struck out 6. Now Kataris, foul territory, has room, makes the catch, and there's the final out. Finally, it is over here in Milwaukee. 16-4 is the final score. Much more to come. Telly Hughes, what do you have coming up on Brewers Live?
Well, Craig, that guy you're looking at right now, Jonathan Lucroy, will have much more on his day. We'll also have our on-field instructional. We'll hear from the skipper, Ron Renicky, go inside the Brewers clubhouse, and we will have a preview of the next